Buddhism first appeared in China over 1800 years ago. Dhammaloka has been there more recently.
I first went to China in 1995, and arriving there, quite to my surprise, I hadn't really expected that, I found very, very strongly this is where I belong. I didn't speak Chinese. I met quite a few people who were always very, very friendly towards me, but I was really puzzled. Why did they treat me as if I was a Westerner? I didn't feel like a Westerner for some reason. But I went, well, particularly to Buddhist places in China, to a number of the holy Buddhist mountains, and I had again sort of that quite strong sense, well, this is the kind of place I would like to live. This is what I would like to see in the West. My main interest when I go to China is to meet people, not necessarily to communicate Buddhism. I feel, in a way, well, inasmuch as I do practice, and I do believe that I practice, I will communicate Buddhism. Yeah, but I'm really interested in meeting people. And it seems that at some point our conversation turns to Buddhism. And that's usually from, in a way, finding out more about them and what they find interesting in life. At the present moment, it's very difficult to envisage an FWBO in China. Not only because the name wouldn't work. I think it's just the general political situation actually doesn't allow at the moment for any official religious or missionary activities run by Westerners, whether Buddhist, Christian or whatever. So I don't really think very much in terms of establishing another Buddhist organization in China. But rather forming a network of friends, and that seems to be happening very, very gradually. For me, amongst my Chinese friends, one person is really outstanding. That is Raninhua. I first met him in 1995 in Utaishan.
I did not know much of Buddhism. I only got the impression Buddhism is God worship, that people to worship God in order to get wealth and good fortune, etc. I met a Western Buddhist and Dhammaloka, and so he seemed to give me a different, show me a different perspective of Buddhism. And I asked him why he went to Utaishan. He said to develop love. So I think it's more kind of Buddhism, more concerning the spiritual development of people, of individual. And I think at that time I still hold on to the ideal, like working for the people, working for the good of society. But I realized the need to develop to cultivate kind of positive emotions within. So I think at the beginning, I found that Buddhism can offer me something in this respect.
Looking at Buddhism today in China is probably a bit of a mixed bag. You have quite a strong resurgence of devotional Buddhism. That is, people coming to the monasteries, offering joss sticks to the deities, praying for one or another type of worldly success. Then there's an increasing number of people being ordained as monks or nuns. And I think quite interestingly, one does find a rebuilding of the traditional two-tier structure of Buddhism, monastic Buddhism and lay Buddhism. Beijing nowadays is a buzzing centre. It's politically, culturally, economically very, very interesting. And the atmosphere in Beijing is quite open. It's distinctly different to, say, 8 years ago when I was first there. I was really struck by the, in a way, approachability of people and the general openness. When people hear about Buddhism and about Buddhism, how we practice it in the West, they are attracted to its practicality and that it has an immediate bearing on how we live our lives, and they can see it could have an immediate bearing on how they live their lives. And many people still are quite influenced, and I think that's quite a positive influence, from the sort of background of the communist period. They want to contribute to society. They want to do something good. They want to make life more meaningful. I can't say I know myself well enough to say why I'm doing this, why I'm going to China. It's a mystery to me. Whenever I hear or read something about China, something very deep is touched. The Chinese have an expression for countryside. It's sui san, which is water and mountains. Yeah, and well, probably you know some of the Chinese traditional paintings. You so often find a combination of water and mountains, and you really see this when you're in China. It's very, very beautiful.